Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located on Earth. It is time for the pre-market post game with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports that we place in your hand each and every trading morning. All right, so a little bit of a late start today. The opening bell is ringing. So you need to handle some biz, take a moment to get a cup of coffee, relax, and all that good stuff. But the day has started. The markets are open, and it's time for us to do what we do. All right, so first and foremost, taking a look at these markets, this is where we are. The Dow futures is up 123 points at 28,110. The NASDAQ 100 is trading at 11,466, down a point. Even the S&P 500 is up 9.25 points at 3402.25. Russell My Hustle is up 17.1 points at 1592.8. The Bitcoin Futures Composite Index is down 35 at 10,780. Nat gas off 2 cents at $2.58. Crude oil up $1.30 at $40.52 a barrel. The long bond is down 16.30 seconds at 173 and 24.30. Gold futures up $4 at $1,924 even. Silver is off 8 cents at $24.47 an ounce. The US dollar is off 11 pips at 93.40. The euro dollar right now up 21 pips at 118.14. Pound sterling down 15 at 129.64. Aussie down 15 at 71.61. Canadian up 9 at 132.67. Euro yen up 9 at 124.70. And the dollar yen off 6 at 105.67. And Kiwi is flat at the moment at 66.49. Beans is the big story this morning, up 17.25 points at 1038 and 3/4. I wonder did a USDA report or something come out, because that is a big number. Corn up 4.5 at 384 even, and wheat is rallying up 6.25 at 590.5. All right, so that's a look at the open markets, because we're now open, mixed with some of the pre-market. Excuse me. So markets are trying to do their thing this morning. They're trying to do a little something. We got a mixed picture, across the board though. Some of these are in the Kumo cloud and haven't gotten out yet. Then we got something like the E-mini S&P 500 is trying to hustle up some stuff here, some momentum. The Dow is trying to do its thing. So little mixed picture across the board. Gold is trying to it just did it. Okay, so gold is running now, and we're going to be watching that one today. I think the pullback was a little overdone, a little correction we had, so I think it's trying to rock it up a little bit. The one question mark though is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is struggling a bit this morning, looking like it's trying to put in a short-term bottom and trying to set itself up for a rally alert for tomorrow. Very interesting setup there. Crude oil, on the other hand, right now, it's also trying to make a move higher. So I would say that this one was overdone also, because we do have a rally alert for crude oil coming into today. Nat gas also had a rally alert coming into today, but it is given that's a zero upside production, and instead is moving lower. We'll see how much it moves throughout the trading session today. But quite interesting moves across the board. Silver's trying to run also. It looked like silver, excuse me, was going to actually move a little bit lower in the overnight. Came shy, just came shy of a pretty substantial sell-off, and then it's reversed since then. And now it's kind of like just pulled back off the highs of the session as well. So a couple of markets they're trying to move into a better position. A little bit of flip-floppage. We're going from bullish to bearish biases. And you know that it's a good gauge of the strength or weakness of the market. Because if you get a rally alert and then you get no follow through, or you get a crash alert with no follow through, that's also very telling as far as how the market is moving. So some argument is being made here that a lot of these markets are kind of running out of steam, and that's kind of been the picture. I can't say that so quickly because the Dow is still trending, still in that bullish positioning. The E-mini S&P 500 though is in the algo Kumo cloud, and as far as the Nasdaq, it's still bullish trending as well, even though it pulled back a little bit. And I'm sorry, it's in the Kumo cloud as well. So you got the S&P and the Nasdaq both in the algo Kumo cloud. Nat gas though, excuse me, still in the bullish positioning. And then if you look at the Russell My Hustle, it is definitely still in the bullish trending category. So like I said, you got a kind of a mixed picture. Right now, it would appear that the Dow and the Russell are leading the way. They're leading the charge right now higher. Will they continue to do so is the question. And can you really have a substantial run without the S&P and the Nasdaq participating on an equal footing? Those are the mixed bag questions that we have to look at when we're looking at the markets. Excuse me. So with that being said, the next thing that we're looking at is that turnaround Tuesday tends to kick in, especially if you had a big move on a Monday. So that's another thing that we're looking at. It's just a lot of different factors coming into play, and we're trying to take it all in for what it's worth. But like I said, the S&P is doing better this morning technically than the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is still down a few points right now. So like I said, some very interesting things that are playing out this morning. So I got my finger on all of it. And I'm just curious to see which side the market's finally going to fall on. You know what I mean? It's just one of those situations. All right, so a little bit of overnight news that we got going on here. Let's see. Oil is gaining after the biggest one-day rally in 5 months as presidential homecoming lifts sentiment. A worker strike in Norway's oil and gas industry and the start of evacuations in the Gulf of Mexico ahead of Hurricane Delta helped lift prices. All right, let's see here. All right, billionaire investor Dan Loeb and Warren Buffett and Mark Benioff. Let's see here. Let's see. Loeb's Third Point Fund revealed the cloud data platform Snowflake was one of its best performing bets in September. Let's see here. All right, they claim the space industry will grow by over $1 trillion in the next decade, according to Bank of America. And some people are believing that a Biden election victory will lift a certain sector of beaten down stocks. This is according to JP Morgan. Asian stocks are up. European and U.S. futures were about flat. And in Asia, markets in China are closed for a holiday. Hong Kong's Hang Seng rose 0.8%, and Japan's Nikkei rose 0.5% at the close. As far as the data docket for today, we got the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's speech and the JOLTS job openings are due today. So kind of quiet. Excuse me, not a lot going on today, this morning per se. Let me just scan in a few things. You see what we got. I don't think there's a lot. I know, the president's homecoming is a big deal. Him coming home. I know a lot of people were praying for his imminent death, which is just so ridiculous. You got people that claim to take the moral high ground and saying, how dare we take people being sick with COVID lightly and blah, 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 and calling it, calling anyone a conspiracy theory who doesn't agree with what the mainstream is saying. But then these same individuals, these same people turn around and say they wish Trump would die from the coronavirus. So again, contradictions fly. It's just ridiculous what's going on right now. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Not a lot. We really don't have a lot of really big things to talk about. As far as anything breaking, like, hey, you got to deal with this. This is an issue. Not really seeing that. I'm just saying, though, from a market perspective, though, we're basically looking to. I'm preparing for just about anything here. Let's see here. It's all about COVID, though. That's the big issue right now. Let's see. Excuse me. I'm just scanning a couple things here. Yeah, I just don't see a lot of anything really worth talking about. I just don't. I tell you this, though. I think people have a lot of things to answer for and to account for and atone for with how this how the world governments have behaved. I think that needs to be dealt with right away, because the shutdowns, to me, is going to be the undoing of a lot of economies, and I don't think there's going to be a way for people to overcome. I think a lot of these economies are just they're toast, man. How do you expect, people to survive when you tell them they can't go to work? It's one thing if you're laid off, but if you're one of the fortunate people to still have a job, that's another issue. And I just don't see how we're handling those issues very well, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Just still scanning while I'm watching these market opens, so just bear with me for a second. All right. Okay. Yeah, not a whole lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. It just isn't. Not a whole lot. Just be prepared, though. Just be prepared that today is going to be a very pivotal day for the markets. And what I mean by that is how we close today is going to pretty much set up the rest of the week. So we're really looking for strong closes today. If not, I think the market is going to be in trouble. Big, big trouble. So just have your eyes and ears wide open today. If you subscribe to the PulseWave reports, you're definitely, and I mean definitely, want to follow the reports to a T as much as possible. Manage your open positions correctly. Learning to take profits when and if necessary to avoid getting your face ripped off. I think we've seen now just how volatile the markets can really be when you look at last week. As soon as the announcement was made that the president caught the coronavirus, the markets all but gave up the ghost almost instantly on the back of that. So all it takes is a news story to change everything. And depending on the power of the news story, it can change the overall trajectory of the market. All right, so just be really careful of that too. I think we're gonna, like I said, today's gonna be telling. Just watch that NASDAQ because it seems to be leading us on the way down. That's the one market I got my eyes on because it could end up leading the way to the downside if we have not really put in a bottom. And coming into today, starting with last night, according to the NASDAQ, we were not necessarily done pulling back. So that's what I'm really watching today. I'm really watching that NASDAQ today to see how it's going to behave. Precious metals are important today too, because they're going to need to hold the bullish pattern. They can't really be selling off here. All right. If the metals take a hit, that's also very telling. You would think that with the metals being hit, if they do get hit, that would be a sign or a signal alerting you that it's time to start selling off or I should say buying equities. Because then it would look like we're going from a risk off to a risk on situation. But I would caution you that it's probably a trap. I believe that if we do take another leg down here in the stock market, that we're also going to simultaneously take a leg down in precious metals. So just keep an eye. I think everything may start selling off together. It's sort of like buy the rumor, sell the news. You know what I mean? So we got the hurricane thing, which is helping to boost the crude oil price as well. But what happens when the hurricane passes and the damage that they were afraid of and estimated for doesn't happen? Then you're going to have a quick move back to equilibrium, because that's what the markets do. They move back into alignment. And when that happens, there's no getting around it. So the question then becomes, where do we go from here? And I think that's a fair question. It's a good question. Where do we go, from there? So that's what I'm watching for today, to see exactly how these things are going to shape up, because they're very important. Sometimes there's just not a lot to do. Sometimes, trading can be kind of boring because you're looking for a catalyst or some type of news event or just anything so that the markets can start moving. You don't care if it moves up or down. You just want movement. And so it's like fishing. You just got to be patient. Put your rod in the water, put the line in the water and just wait for a fish to bite. It's kind of like that. There are days where you're just not in the market. There's nothing shaping up. There's no conditions for you to do anything, and you're just sitting on your hands. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to, remember that it takes discipline to consistently extract profits. All right. Okay. Is the new IPO PLTR? If it's a new IPO, it's not going to show up until we get more data. I need a significant amount of data before things can show up. But let me just double check and see if I've already added that. If not, then I'll add it right here, right now. So let's see, PLTR. All right. When I pull up PLTR, the only thing that comes up is principal lifetime on the NASDAQ. I'm probably certain that's not what you're talking about, right? So what is the name of the company? Maybe my repository has it under a different ticker. So if you can let me know PLTR, what is the name of the company? I can look it up by name. And it also may be that they don't have it listed in the repositories yet for me to request data. So just let me know on that. You can type it in the chat. That'll be helpful, and then I can look it up and just double check. That's the only thing with IPOs. Anything that's new, even if it's a new futures contract or whatever, anything that's new, it requires data. So it takes a while to generate data because I need a significant amount of data before I can add something to the system. If I don't have enough data to crunch, then I have no way of trading it. So it's going to take a while. Okay, Palantir Technologies. All right, let me just type that up and see what comes up. Like I said, it could be they haven't completed it and put it on the schedule yet. So let's see. I'll search by name. PALAN. Yep, not in here. Not in here. Yep, they haven't added it yet. Once they do, then I'll be able to just go in and take a look at it, and then I should be able to add it. Let me just check one other source real quick and see if they got it. Nope. Nope, not yet. Not yet. So I have to wait. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Anything that's new, I require data in order to add it to the system. But that's something that we'll watch for, though. We'll see what happens. Normally, with a lot of IPOs, it starts off at a high price and then falls, finds a low price for support, and then makes a decision there what it's going to do and for how long. All right, so like I said, just taking a look across the board so far in the markets. Right now, it's very quiet. It's just not a lot happening right now. The only two bright spots where we're getting action is crude oil and soybeans this morning. And that seems to be about it. There's really nothing else on and popping. Even just from since the opening bell, we've done nothing but pull back to test overnight lows or some final support in the U.S. Equities. So not a lot going there. And then coming into today, we got the shock factor going on in the beans. Got a shock factor. We did a very hardcore reversal in the overnight markets. Taking a look at that. So caught a lot of people off guard. I'm sure there were people short and got squoze out in the beans this morning. But how the beans close is also going to be really important. They're really going to need to show something on the close today, because sometimes these trajectories are not necessarily complete. So you'll get a good pop up, but then if the bear market is really established, then the shorts come in and they sell that rally and beat the prices right back down into submission. So that's why I say the closes today are going to be very telling. They're going to be extremely telling. How we close, and then the first hour of trading after the markets open. I should say reopen this evening. Those two things are going to be important, because if we just fall out of bed today into the close, then that lets you know exactly where we're going. But then the next thing that's very telling too is how the market opens the prior day, because what if we open up with a bearish 2-bar Charlie? Then that's all she wrote. It's a wrap. So yeah, the NASDAQ right now is the one that's going to really tell the story this morning, and that's the one I'm watching. So just eyes and ears open on that one. It could be very interesting how we move today in that NASDAQ. All right, that's all I got this morning, guys. Sometimes there's not a lot to discuss and deal with. So we're watching. We got our eyes on the prize. We got our marching orders. We got our PulseWave report. So we know exactly what we're looking for. And we're just waiting to see which way the wind blows. All right, so if you want to get down with that, man, you got to go to pulsewavetrading.com, man. You got to go. You got to become a member, subscribe, so you can get these reports that we put out every trading day, so you can know what's going on. And we cover all the markets, not just equities. We cover stocks, futures, forex, crypto. We do it all, man. Whatever you want to trade, we got you. Doesn't matter what country you're in. We cover all the major exchanges across the world. So we got you. We got you. All right. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I see you, Thunderbird. Yeah, the rallying on weak volume is another telling situation as well. Yes. Um, we're at a crossroads, just so you guys know. Expect extreme volatility up until the election and maybe even a little while after the election. So here's the way it's going to go. We're going to be volatile heading into the actual night of the election. And if a clear winner is not determined and we have an uncontested election, and the clear winner for whatever reason is not determined yet, still counting ballots, whatever, the markets can remain volatile or sell off, crash, whatever term you want to use, and stay there until it's rectified. If we have a contentious election where we're going to court, going to the Supreme Court, whatever, well, you can expect even more volatility and even more of a sell-off. But once the dust settles and we get past that, then the rally will ensue, and it'll be a monster rally, a Godzilla type rally. So here's how this is going to shape up. So once the dust settles and the winner has been determined, however long after the fact that takes, you'll have this incredible monster rally. But then the market will sell off again and crash and burn if Biden wins. So you'll have that incredible monster rally, but then it will fade immediately. If Trump wins, you'll have the monster rally, and the market will keep going. It'll keep going and going until there's a reason for it to stop. So kind of a similar setup that we had back in 2016, but this one may or may not be as severe as the night of 2016. But it has all the earmarkings to potentially be just as bad, and if not a little worse, because in 2016 we didn't have a lockdown in place, we didn't have a pandemic in place. So just keep that in the back of y'all's mind. All right, smash that like button. You know what to do, man. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.